Is the Dean Obeidallah Show.
You want progress? Stay active.
On SiriusXM. Progress.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live here Thursday, December 8th. The people on hold, I'm going to get to you. But right now, Congressman Ted Lieu is joining us live right at the bottom of the hour. You know him, Democrat representing the 33rd District in California. He's been on our show. You see him on MSNBC all the time. He's on the House Judiciary Committee and House Foreign Affairs Committee. He served active duty in the U.S. Air Force. And he's vice chair of the LGBTEQ caucus, which is relevant to what we're going to talk about. But I want to congratulate him. He was just elected to the fourth highest position in the House Democratic leadership as the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, and making him the highest ranking Asian American ever in the House Democratic leadership. So congratulations, Congressman.
Thank you, Dean. Honored to be on your show.
So let me ask you, first of all, as vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, like, what do you do? Like, just so we understand, because we know what the Hakeem Jeffries, or it's Nancy Pelosi now, but Hakeem Jeffries. But what do you do as vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus?
Sure. So I'm very honored to be part of this senior leadership team with Hakeem Jeffries, Catherine Clark, Pete Aguilar, as well as Jim Clyburn. And we're going to shape strategy for the next 2 years to take back the House, to advance democratic values and stop stupid stuff from Republicans. In addition, there is a lot of mechanical operations of the caucus that happens. There's weekly caucus meetings. There's an issues retreat. There's going to be professional development seminars. And so these are things you're not going to read about in the press, but they're very important to the functioning of the caucus.
Oh, that's very interesting. The inner workings, the actual brainstorming within the caucus, the retreat. I'd recommend New Jersey. I'm from Jersey, a lovely beach area. Atlantic City's kind of fun. Bring everyone there. So what does it say about the political clout and engagement of the Asian American community now that you are the fourth highest ranking member of the House, and that's the highest an Asian Americans ever achieved yet? And I'm sure it's not the ceiling. We're going to continue going up the ladder.
I believe it's a recognition from my colleagues of the growing importance of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. If you look at the 2 U.S. Census reports that happened in the last 2 decades, it shows that Asian Americans are the fastest increasing group in America, more than doubling in size since 2000. And it's not just in places like New York and California, but also places like Nevada and Georgia, presidential swing states. And now you have Asian Americans in a variety of states that can be the margin of victory.
I think I'm going to have a talk with the people of my Muslim community. We have to have more children. This is what we have to, if we're going to catch up to other groups, because we are not doing no. We're getting there. So what can you share? Hakeem Jeffries is a congressman from New York. I've never been able to have him on the show yet, but I am more familiar with him than others, being in New York and seeing him in politics here for years. What can you share about Hakeem Jeffries, the new House Democratic leader, and he'll be in that position come the new Congress starting January 3rd?
He's a wonderful leader. He's very thoughtful. He's a great listener. He's terrific at building coalitions, and he's exactly who we need right now to take back the House in 2 years. And I really look forward to working with him. And we're also going to have a terrific leadership team, again, with Catherine Clark and Pete Aguilar and Jim Clyburn as well.
That's great. And it is a changing of the guard in terms of generational. And Speaker Pelosi was a remarkable speaker, made history. And I know she's serving the next term, so it'll be interesting to see her role in the House there, in a different position. But I'm sure she'll be giving advice and open to be consulted when Hakeem Jeffries or anyone needs help, because they've worked closely together before this.
It was a joy and an honor to serve with Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. She is the best speaker ever, and now she's going to be Speaker Emerita. And we all look forward to working with her in her new capacity.
And I look forward to seeing the Pelosi building in the future, like the same Sam Rayburn building, the Nancy Pelosi building somewhere. And there should be, I'm not even kidding, at some point, there better be. Just like there should be a whole wing of a prison for Donald Trump, there should be a building honoring Speaker Pelosi. I'm chatting with Congressman Ted Lieu. So, Congressman, before you came on, we had a really good conversation about the prisoner swap. WNBA star Brittney Griner, who served on an Olympic team, won gold medals for our nation, swap for a really bad guy. But if you want good people, you sometimes have to swap bad people for that. What's your reaction to the exchange here?
I commend President Biden for bringing an American back home. And all prison swaps are going to look like this, where we're going to be giving up bad guys because the American judicial enforcement system arrests and prosecutes bad guys. We don't go randomly take Russians and put them into prison the way that Russia
Right.
does to US citizens. So unfortunately, it's always going to be one-sided, where we're always going to be giving up bad guys because those are the folks that we keep in prison. And so I'm very pleased that Joe Biden was able to get this done, and look forward to now working on getting other people out from Russia, including Mr. Wieland, as well as other political prisoners that Vladimir Putin has taken for no good reason.
Does he just take them for pawns for the future? Is that what it's about?
That's what it looks like to me. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's remarkable. Well, I'm glad that she's out. I played clips earlier of President Biden and Brittney Griner's spouse talking about this beautiful moment and how they're going to continue working for the Whelan family, and how Paul Whelan's brother said President Biden made the right choice. He should not hold and wait for Paul Whelan to be released as well, because they're not intertwined in any way. He was arrested in 2018 when Trump was president. Trump did nothing for the guy for 2 years. And she was just arrested earlier this year on completely BS charges. There's residue on a vape cartridge. I mean, come on. So Congressman, let's talk about something that was really good. Today, the House passed the Respect for Marriage Act. I know you're vice chair of the LGBTQ caucus. Tell us a little bit about this moment that you were there helping make history, everyone in the House, as you voted to pass this.
I'm so honored to have voted for the Respect for Marriage Act. It enshrines into federal law the right for marriage equality for the LGBTQ community, and also it enshrines into federal law the right to be married regardless of your racial status. I am completely disturbed that 169 House Republicans voted against that bill, and I think that says a lot about the Republican Party.
It does. It's 2022. It's about to be 2023. Like, at what point are you going to come into the world where you believe in equality? But then again, this is the GOP that has no problems forcing their religious beliefs as law to oppress women and prevent them from having fundamental freedoms in terms of reproductive freedom. So if you're going to take away someone's freedom, I guess marriage equality doesn't mean that much to them. It's a remarkable thing. And by the way, so people understand, this law repeals the Defensive Marriage Act, and it's going to enshrine marriage equality into federal law. Just from a logistical point of view, how will this work? It's because my understanding, it doesn't actually make a state that doesn't want to have marriage equality have it, allow people to get married, but recognizes their marriages from other states. And this only matters if Obergefell gets overturned. If it doesn't get overturned, it's not an issue.
So another reason that we did this in Congress is a warning shot to the Supreme Court that they need to stop taking away people's rights, and that they should not be reversing cases that have been settled precedent. And honestly, I don't even understand why Republicans are upset that other people get to enjoy the joys of marriage and love. I don't see how marriage equality harms anyone. And it's frankly just shocking to me that so many Republicans in the House, as well as the Senate, have these bigoted views.
I agree. And it's one thing to have the bigoted views. It's another thing to try to make them the law of the land, because people can hold whatever views they want. But when they want to turn it into legislation and then force it upon people and shove it down people's throats, that's, to me, it's un-American, it's unconstitutional. And that's what we're dealing with. So, Congressman, you mentioned earlier that one of the work of your position as vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus is stopping Republicans doing stupid stuff, which I love that. And we see a lot of stupid stuff on the horizon that Republicans ran on, things like crime and inflation. But the only thing they've talked about, Jim Jordan and others, is investigating Hunter Biden and his laptop and trying to tie it to President Biden. How will the House Democrats deal with this? I imagine there's discussions about how to counter it, because it's all going to be a media narrative. All they want to do is create media stories that try to tarnish President Biden because they have no ideas. I'm not exaggerating. They don't, on policy, they're not about policy. So how will House Democrats deal with this?
For the sake of our country, I hope the Republicans moderate and they learn their lesson from this midterm, where Democrats way overperformed. We expanded the Senate in a midterm, and we also overperformed in the House. and I hope they'll work with Democrats to help American families. My suspicion is they won't do that, that they're going to go full on crazy and off the deep end. And already we see in their list of investigations, literally Hunter Biden's laptop. It's there in writing. And that to me is just insane. And so I'm on the Judiciary Committee. Jim Jordan will be the chair. And I think he can't help himself. I think he's just going to go off the deep end and start doing investigations into things that most Americans don't care about, such as Hunter Biden's laptop.
I can't even imagine what Jim Jordan as a chair of a committee is going to be like, and how he was unbearable just watching. I don't know what he's like to work with. Maybe he's a nicer guy. I'd be surprised, but maybe he is. I don't know. But just watching him, and that he's about everything is partisan hackery. Everything is about scoring points. It's not about policy. It's not about a greater good. It's very to see this, and now to see him as chair. I mean, are you concerned that he will really hurt the Judiciary Committee's work in terms of what your real mandate is supposed to be?
I do. I don't think he's going to be doing anything to help American families. I think he's going to be trying to score political points for his ultra-conservative MAGA base. And he's going to focus on irrelevant things such as Hunter Biden's laptop. And while we're on it, I just want to say this whole investigation that Twitter is doing with Elon Musk and so on, it concerns nude pictures of Hunter Biden. I mean, we're talking about whether Twitter should have allowed essentially these sexual nude pictures to go all over Twitter. And Twitter, as a private sector company, certainly had the right to say, you know, we don't want that. We don't want that on our website. And for now, Jim Jordan and MAGA Republicans to somehow claim that that is something that's a big deal that American people care about is just ludicrous.
Yes, and Elon Musk has allowed on literal neo-Nazis named a guy, Andrew England, the head of the Daily Stormer, who in 2017 defamed me and had his supporters come after me and make death threats against me. And I sued him and got a judgment of $4 million for defamation and emotional distress. And I couldn't collect on it, but the money was going to be given to charity. He's been banned from Twitter for years, but Elon Musk thinks it's good to have on a self-avowed, self-professed neo-Nazi on that website. And I know there's nothing you can do. This is, I understand that's life, but it says so much about Elon Musk and the way he's viewing this platform to elevate and amplify divisions in our society.
Because evidently Elon Musk and Twitter can't figure out how to make sure that advertisements don't appear on these white nationalist pages. So now you've got major Fortune 500 companies with their ads on these Nazi pages and these white nationalist pages. And the Department of Health and Human Services, unfortunately, also had some of their ads on these white nationalist pages. And so I've asked the Department of Health and Human Services to fix that. It's certainly not the department's fault, but since Twitter is incapable of doing this, then I think the department needs to take some action.
I agree with you. I'm chatting with Congressman Ted Lieu. So very last question. So the reports are the January 6th committee is going to make some criminal referrals. We might even know more tomorrow. It might even be some vote on it Friday, but it seems very likely. And there's a lot of rumors about who might be referred. From your point of view, do you favor the idea of referrals to DOJ? And if those referrals happen, do you expect Donald Trump will be one of the people named?
I do favor referrals because I think it's a way of letting the Department of Justice know that the January 6th committee interviewed all these witnesses, looked at evidence, and concluded that a certain number of people are guilty of violating federal law. I would expect Donald Trump to be named because engaging in a conspiracy to appoint fake electors to overthrow the will of the people is highly illegal. You can't just do that and get away with it. And so I expect Donald Trump to be named.
And I hope he will be. And I think I'm pretty confident he will. But like, if you look at the January 6th motion to get John Eastman's emails, when they cited the crime fraud exception, they laid out in writing that Trump, in their view, had committed crimes, obstruction of Congress and defrauding the United States of America. So Congressman Lieu, thank you so much for making time. I know you just recovered from COVID. I'm glad you're back. And again, congratulations on being elected vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus. I look forward to chatting with you in the new year.
Thank you, Dean.
Have a good night.
Thank you.